Hey everyone, I'm Peter Murray, and today we're going to take a look at the Markbass Little Mark Vintage Bass Amplifier. This amp is part of the Markbass Gold series, a collection of state-of-the-art products that offer superior quality, gold-plated circuits, top-end components, and new features requested by many customers and artists. Markbass has been revolutionizing bass amplification for 18 years, and you could say this amp represents all the experience they have amassed in that time. Who is this amp for? The Little Mark Vintage is a bass amp for any bass player and any style of music. It's ideal for bass players who want a warm vintage bass tone in a lightweight, compact, and reliable amplifier. But although it's great for rock and blues and R&B and other older styles of music, it has the tonal flexibility to be used for any style. What is the preamp in the Little Mark Vintage? The Little Mark Vintage features a custom 12AX7 tube preamp with a warm old-school tone that's rich in harmonics. It also adds a nice vintage look to the amp. What is the power amp? Generally, bass amp brands use generic third-party power amps in their products. But Marco de Virgili's invested a lot of time and money in developing his own proprietary power amp. Like other Markbass amplifiers, the Little Mark Vintage uses this special power amp technology. MPT, which stands for Mark Proprietary Technology, is only found in Markbass amps. This amp puts out 500 watts at 4 ohms, or 300 watts at 8 ohms. It has a 4 ohm minimum, which means you can use it with 1 or 2 8 ohm cabinets or 1 4 ohm cabinet. What are the EQ controls and 3-way switch? The Little Mark Vintage has a 4-band EQ. It allows you to separately cut or boost the lows, mid-lows, mid-highs, and highs by up to 16 decibels. The low control cuts or boosts at around 68 Hz. Mid-low controls the 400 Hz range. Mid-high is at 2.2 kHz. And high is at 10 kHz. Now let's hear how these EQ controls sound. I'm using my 71P bass. I've got all the controls on the front panel flat. I'm miking up a Markbass 210 cabinet with a Audio-Technica AE2500 microphone, and I'm using the DI output set at post EQ. In addition, the Little Mark Vintage features a switch that offers 3 EQ presets. When this knob is all the way to the left, there is no EQ filter applied. In the middle position, the cut setting scoops the mids while enhancing the lows and highs. To the right, The old setting is a shelf EQ that cuts highs to produce an old school bass tone. The EQ preset sound is pre-EQ, which means that it will also go to the effect send, tuner output, and DI output. Let's hear how these EQ presets sound. What does the limiter control do? Markbass heads include a limiter, which prevents your signal from distorting as it reaches the speaker cabinet. But only the Little Mark Vintage gives you the option of reducing the effect of the limiter and allows for a more old school sound by letting your signal distort a little when you really dig in. This control allows you to fine-tune the limiter to your taste. When the knob is all the way clockwise, the limiter is fully engaged as it would normally be. As you turn the knob counterclockwise, the limiter is gradually turned off. Note that this affects only the sound coming through your cabinet, not the signal from the DI output. This is a unique feature not available on other bass amps. What are the features on the rear panel? The rear panel of the Little Mark Vintage includes two speaker outputs, one combo jack that accepts either a speak-on cable or a 1/4-inch speaker cable, and one regular 1/4-inch jack. There's also a tuner output and an effects loop, which is pre-EQ in the signal chain. What about the DI? A DI unit converts the unbalanced signal from your bass into a balanced signal that can be sent to the PA mixer or recording interface. Often this function is served by a DI box that connects to your bass, your amp, and the mixing console. The balanced DI output in the Little Mark Vintage is a real high-quality DI with a transformer. It's optimized to give pure, full, rich sound at all frequencies and handles extreme transients without introducing any distortion or coloration. Along with the DI output, there is a ground lift switch that allows you to get rid of any hum you may have in your signal, and there's a pre-post EQ switch that determines whether the signal coming out of the DI includes the EQ you're applying on the amp or not. There is also a level control for the DI output on the left side of the front panel, which is very helpful for making sure the soundman or recording engineer gets the right amount of signal from the amp. What is the size and weight? The Little Mark Vintage is super portable. It features the compact size and light weight of all the Little Mark family heads. The amp is 10.87 inches or 27.6 centimeters wide, 3.27 inches or 8.3 centimeters high, 9.84 inches or 25 centimeters deep, and weighs only 5.51 pounds or 2.5 kilograms. What can be controlled using a foot switch? In response to many customer requests, this amp features a jack on the front panel which connects to an optional 2-button foot switch to mute the amp and turn the EQ settings on and off. This foot switch affects the settings of the 4-band EQ, but not the 3-way switch. The foot switch is sold separately. What other accessories are available? Markbass offers a very handy MARKWORLD amp bag for protecting and transporting your Little Mark Vintage. There's a compartment on the top to carry cables and accessories, and there are 2 straps on the back so you can wear it as a knapsack. The amp can also stay in the bag while you're using it. If you like to mount your amp in a rack, there are rack ears available that allow you to house the amp in any 2 units of any standard 19-inch rack case. The FOOTSWITCH amp bag and rack ears are all sold separately. Look below for links to the product pages for more info. You can try a Little Mark Vintage for yourself at a Markbass dealer near you. And find out more about Markbass products at markbass.it. Thanks for watching.